Now, I like the way you went with the approach. Uh, I mean, you've first certified yourself, you've created a framework, and after creating the framework, you decided, let me use this framework to see whether how we can actually improve the capabilities of these CEOs. And even if it came free of cost, you kept on using these frameworks so that you found there's tangible outcome that's coming out. And after getting, and when you're sure that these tangible outcomes are coming, it's only then you said, let me product it and then let me now deliver to more people who are actually suffering with the similar problems.
Mhm.
I mean, what would be the key problem that they'll be going through? I mean, at that level, I just want to understand. Apart from the, I'm talking about the vulnerability side.
Mhm.
Of course, they would be having fancy uh, secretaries who are managing all their tasks. They would be having a proper sales team, functional teams everywhere placed. What will be the key problem that they'll be going through?
Yes. I wish there was only one problem, Peter. This is the real answer. And so,
And they will come to you, Navid, this is where I'm suffering.
yes. So the first thing is, especially if it's a first time appointment. So, first time CEO, let's take that example. And it was interesting for me to observe that at Vodafone, most of our CEOs were previous CFOs.
Okay.
So somehow
They came from the finance
it
background.
was this unwritten script that if you are excellent with the numbers and understand the P&L in full detail, you would probably be equally good as a CEO who looks after every part of the organization. Now, and that actually happened to my own business partner. So I partnered with our group CFO and her finance leadership team. I, as a global head of HR, I was in charge of 27,000 employees in 24 markets. And she was promoted to become group CEO, one of only 10 women to be a CEO in the FTSE 100 today. So she's today still, as we speak, the group CEO of the company called Vodafone. But especially if it's a first-time appointment, let's say, into the CEO position, you have a lot of challenges coming your way. The first thing is, even as a CFO or CHRO, CTO, CMO, you used to have peers. Now you're out of peers.
Correct.
Because everyone who used to be the C-suite is now your direct report.
Yes.
Which also means that the relationships will have to shift. If you were best buddies with the CMO, which is unlikely if you were the CFO, but if you were best buddies with the CHRO, maybe, which is also quite unlikely, you cannot carry forward the same relationship because now these people reporting to you. So that's the first challenge. The second challenge is, let's face it, you have never been a CEO before. So there is immense pressure coming away from all sorts of different directions to obviously be a successful one. Because guess what? You're not in an experimental lab where you can say, okay, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try a few things and maybe half of them don't work out. That's okay. Well, I just want to fail. I want to fail fast. I want to fail forward. No.
It doesn't work at that level.
Work especially if it's a large corporate listed organization. There's shareholders, investors, all these. So that's the second challenge. The third challenge is, which is coming back to the very first one, not only are you promoted from within, so you are now the pack leader, but that also means that you don't have anyone that you can confide in. You have a new boss who's the chairman or the chairwoman of the board, and everyone else that is part of the C-suite is your employee. It's your direct report. So who do you really go with your deepest troubles? Who do you confide to when you have dilemmas that you want to talk through with someone to overcome? And the other aspect that I've often observed is, particularly with CEO appointments, is the initial expectation from those is enormous. You know, we used to say, and I'm not sure if it's still true or not, every president gets the first 100 days to understand the role, to understand.
It's a honeymoon period.
Yes. I'm not sure any CEO of a listed company actually gets 100 days because that's already 10 days after the very first quarterly results announcement. And so these are just some ideas to highlight as to why it is table stakes for someone at that level to partner with someone like myself who can help him or her with every one of these issues and a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, I can relate to it. One is there's a vehicle that's moving fast. The steering is thrown on you. You need to hold it. You need to make sure that pace doesn't fall down. You need to now drive more faster, whether you have the capabilities or not, no one is going to bother. And you need to move forward. And that's where I understand from your book, you said that the CEOs are mostly lonely at the top. What do you mean by lonely?
Yes, yes. It's what I just
That's what you mentioned, that
Yes, but
that there's no one to speak.
yes, allow me to share with you one more example. It's a true story. So I was brought in to work with a newly appointed CEO of an organization. So the story was as follows. This individual had been a division head in the same organization. And this is in Switzerland, and this was a face-to-face engagement. So he flew me in 4 times during the 12 months journey we had together. And so this is our very first engagement. We've had 2 online sessions, and then this is our first face-to-face in-person engagement. So I arrive at the beautiful headquarters in the beautiful part of Switzerland. It's kind of autumn, so it's pretty cold outside. You see the mountains already covered in snow. And he comes down to collect me, which I thought was a very kind gesture. I did not expect him to personally come down to collect me at the reception and kind of accompany me to the boardroom. So he did that, and he hit me as a man who was very kind and a true gentleman. So we go up, and before we go into the boardroom, he's like, coffee? And I'm sure. So we go into the office kitchen, which is kind of the corner kitchen, is where the kitchen lies. And we go there, grab an espresso. Switzerland being Switzerland, there's always chocolate available. So 1 piece of chocolate, and then we go into the boardroom. So I put down my bag, take off my jacket, and before we get going, he's like, Nabi, did you notice anything today? And I'm like, well, what do you mean by that? Well, just generally, did you notice anything? And I said, I've never been to your offices, so it's really hard for me to notice any difference, but I didn't notice anything in particular. And he said, did you notice how quiet it was when we walked into the kitchen? And I said, yeah, it was a bit quiet. He said, usually that is the bubbliest place of this entire office.
Correct.
And because my announcement went out 3 days ago, just to announce that I will be the incoming CEO 6 weeks down the line, that means that people will stop talking when they are in close proximity to me.
Oh,
Right?
the culture started changing.
It's the same kind guy, a true gentleman, someone who's really caring and shows a high degree of humility. Despite all of this, just the sheer fact that he's been announced as the he's not even in role, as the incoming group CEO, means that people
have distanced
be
themselves.
very careful about what they say in his presence and how they say it.